It's now been over a year since I installed this Eufy wired 2K doorbell, so I figured it was a great time to give it a long-term review. Today I'll go over this doorbell's overall features and price, share my experiences in using it over the past year, and give you all the pros and cons I could come up with, all to let you know whether or not I recommend it. Let's go. Firstly, the installation was extremely simple. It's really just a matter of removing your old doorbell, screwing this bracket in, wiring it with the existing wiring, and then clicking the doorbell into place. It is also very easy to remove the doorbell using this little tool that they provide you, so that way if you need to access the wiring or just remove the doorbell in the future for whatever reason, you can. And keep in mind, when you install this doorbell, you will be bypassing your existing doorbell chime that's already installed in the house, but all you have to do is plug in this chime that comes with it. Now let's take an overall look at the features of this doorbell according to what Eufy has on their product page. 2K resolution. This doorbell is very high quality and has an HD camera that's 2560 by 1920 resolution. It also has some pretty advanced HDR, so you don't have to worry about people being backlit or unrecognizable when they walk up to the door if you're in an area like mine where it's shaded where the doorbell is, but actually bright on the outside. And the aspect ratio for this camera is 4:3 instead of the traditional 16:9. That just means that you have a little bit more space above and below where you normally would with a regular camera. No subscriptions. One of my favorite things about Eufy overall as a brand is that they do not believe in making you pay subscriptions on the devices that you purchase. They treat their devices as a one-time purchase, and the same can be said for this doorbell. That means that your doorbell will have all the equipment and onboard AI that it needs for human detection and for local storage. That way you're not going to have to pay a subscription fee to do cloud storage or to have their AI generate the human detection. Although they do offer cloud storage if you want it, in addition to what already comes with the doorbell. As with really any video doorbell, you do have two-way audio on this doorbell too, meaning that you can communicate back and forth with whoever's at your door without having to open it, and the audio is very loud and clear.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
You are.
You can also use preset recorded messages that you can play at your command using the Eufy security app.
Excuse me, can I help you? Please leave it at the door. We will be right there.
Or you can even make your own pre-recorded response that plays as well.
Subscribe to Wyatt Tech.
AI notifications. And as I mentioned before, you do have built-in AI on this doorbell as well, which uses an algorithm to detect body parts and facial patterns just to give you the most accurate notifications. And according to Eufy, as I quote, this ensures that you're only alerted when a human, not a stray cat, is at the door. Now, this isn't necessarily 100% accurate, but we'll touch more on that later. Chime. Lastly, the door chime that this doorbell comes with has 8 different ringtones that you can choose from, some of which are holiday themed. And the volume is adjustable, so you can really fine-tune it to whatever space you decide to put it in. Now, aside from the general features, let me show you some of the more intricate details and some of my favorite pros or benefits of this device. Notification speed. The first one has to be the fast notification speed. I have been very happy with how quickly I get the notifications compared to when the motion actually happens at my front door. Here's a speed test that I did a little bit earlier. Preview photo. This is actually one of my favorite parts about Eufy cameras in general, not just the doorbell, but basically whenever you get a notification from this device that has human detection, you kind of get two notifications within about a second. The first one happens when the event actually occurs, just to let you know as soon as possible, but then you get a second notification that you can press on that opens up a preview photo of who is at the door. This way you don't have to open up the app and wait for it to load before you can see anything, so you can easily identify whether or not you need to open the door, if it's a solicitor, or if it's something as simple as a delivery. Eufy security app. If you do decide to open up the app, another pro is that the app is very user-friendly. It gives you a little dashboard of all your cameras. I have my doorbell right at the top, so you can get a snapshot of what's going on. You can easily open the live view of the doorbell by pressing the little play button. You can press on this little box on the bottom right corner to view the motion events and the history of the past ones too. Or press on the three little dots to access the settings or to snooze the doorbell. So if you don't want to get any notifications or have the chime go off, say while your kids are napping, you can have it snoozed for a set amount of time, after which it automatically turns back on. Echo as chimes. You heard me. So whenever your doorbell is pressed, obviously you're not just going to get a phone notification, your door chime will also go off at the same time. But what happens if you have a larger house, or in my case a two-story house? It's happened to me quite a few times where I don't have my phone on me and I just can't hear the doorbell chiming when I'm upstairs. I just discovered recently that instead of buying additional chimes to add throughout your house, which you can add 4 additional chimes in case you're curious, you can actually use any Amazon or Echo devices that you have as chimes as well. Battery free. Another pro is that since this is a wired doorbell, you never have to worry about battery life. In my previous house, I actually used a whole system of Blink security cameras. If you're not familiar, those are battery powered. I was having to constantly change out the batteries on those things. The fact that this is a wired doorbell means you'll never have to charge it or change it to make sure it stays up and running. Price. Now, one of the most important pros has to be the price. I bought this doorbell for $160 on Black Friday of 2021, and honestly, even at that price, I thought it was a pretty good buy, and I still do. But even better, now the price is only
$69.99 for Prime members.
And that is a great price in my opinion, especially when considered that there are no subscriptions. For whatever reason, a common trend in the smart home space is that you have to pay subscriptions to enable a device's full capabilities, especially for things like cloud storage or AI-based notifications like human detection. But this Eufy device is different because it has all of the equipment that it needs built in, so you never have to worry about paying a subscription fee unless you want to pay for cloud storage. That's the only one that they offer. Again, take this into consideration when you're factoring in price, because even if you find a doorbell that costs less up front, it may cost you more in the long run based on cloud subscription fees. Now that we've gone over all of the pros, let's be sure that you're subscribed to my channel Wyatt Tech so we can move on and talk about the cons of this doorbell. Okay, that might be a little too much drama. Much better. The one con that stands out to me the most, to be honest, is that this doorbell does not support 24/7 recording. For comparison, I also have the Eufy solo cams outdoor for outside of my house. These are also hardwired. And although pretty much all of the other features between these devices are the same, you will not have the ability to play back 24/7 recording footage on your doorbell. On the outdoor cams you can. So just keep that in mind. It obviously still will record whenever you have an event happen, but you will not be able to go back to a random time of day to view playback whenever there wasn't an event because it will not have been recording. Now here's another thing that's a con that just started happening to me recently. I'd say pretty easily over the past year that I've never had any issues with notifications coming from the doorbell. Really, it's never faltered, but for whatever reason, for the past few weeks, maybe a month, the Eufy app has just been logging me out without telling me, and at that point I'd received 0 notifications from any of my devices. And really the only solution for that is it takes me however long it takes to realize that I'm not getting notifications like I should be, opening up the Eufy security app and logging back in. Once I do that and log back in, it'll work just fine, which is what leads me to believe this probably isn't an issue with the doorbell, more of an issue with the software or the Eufy app. So I wouldn't count this against the doorbell by any means, but it is something to consider with the Eufy security app in general with any devices you get from them. Hopefully this is something they could fix really soon with a patch, because this has definitely been pretty inconvenient. And touching back on the human detection, another con is that it isn't always 100% accurate. Eufy actually specifically mentions in their product page that this device will not capture stray cats. I do get stray cats in my neighborhood, and I actually get notifications for them all the time saying that it's a human. But I mean, really personally, I see this as a feature. I think it's fun to watch cats come up to my door and just hang out for a little bit, but they definitely are not human. I also had this weird issue that was happening when I first set up the doorbell a year ago, where for whatever reason, it was detecting this stone pillar that I have at my entryway as a human, not during the day, but only at nighttime. Basically, as soon as I went to bed, my phone was going off non-stop all night long, saying there was a human at the door, and when I would open up the notification, it would just show me this. But this one did have a very simple solution, because you can set specific zones for the doorbell to detect humans or motion. I just put a zone around the area that it was capturing, and I've never had any issues with it since. Another con to consider, or at least to keep in mind, is that this device does not support HomeKit. This might not be a surprise, because HomeKit is pretty much the least supported smart home platform, but it is unfortunate if you are using HomeKit, because they do support HomeKit on different Eufy devices, just not on this one for whatever reason. Overall, I would say that there are a lot more pros than cons with this video doorbell. In my experience, Eufy has been a very reliable brand that does not believe in making you pay subscriptions. And they've equipped this doorbell with a high quality camera, human detection, quick notifications, and the preview photos, which I love. Those things are really the best part about having a video doorbell, so I would absolutely recommend this device to you, especially if you can get it for under $100. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you ding dong the like button. It helps me out a lot. And if you did like this one, I'm sure you'll like this one too. Thank you for watching.